king g2 looks pretty much forced.
Because you don't want to play king f2 because of rook h1,
Exactly.
which threatens both the h3 pawn, but also that nasty skewer on h2.
Oh yeah, that's also huge. That would pick up a rook.
So king g2 was played by Nakamura.
Exactly. And Gary is down to a minute, if I read that right.
And what if we play, like, what if we start pushing the d pawn? Like, I want to try to play bishop e5 and d4, but no, he hasn't done that. He's brought Mr. King into the position.
Mr. King? Okay, king f7 by Gary Kasparov, as he is under a minute against the Blitz King.
Shaking his head.
And with a wry smile as well.
Not like, this is fun.
Well, it's sort of like he admires how Hikaru has handled, or what I thought was a very, very difficult position for Hikaru. He's definitely crawled his way
knight
back.
Knight back to c6, and then an instant h4 by Gary. I think the idea here is that there's going to be some positions where we can just take on c6 and play rook e2 check, forcing your king back, and then we're going to go after the pawn on h3, which is a big pawn.
So I see, yeah. So
we're going to try to play bishop c6 and rook e2 check.
Maybe plant the bishop on g3.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. That was
a clear advantage in this game.
But how does we're going to try to play bishop e5 and bishop a4, and how are you going to stop me from gaining loads of counterplay?
Well, let's start with the move rook d2. That rook on d1 attacking that very important knight on a4, the knight on a4 holding up a lot of black's activity. If you play rook b1, I mean, after all, I think black wants to keep the rooks on as best he can.
He traded.
He traded.
Whoa.
Immediately.
Whoa, that was a little bit unexpected for me. Rook takes d2 is Gary's choice. And Gary has played rook takes d2, knight takes d2, king f6.
This is belief in the power of the two bishops. For real.
King f2 played instantly.
Right.
Bishop f4, no?
Bishop f4, knight would maybe go to c1? To
40
c3.
seconds. Gary played king e5 instead.
Is he going to play g5 against king e4, bishop king e3, bishop c5, e4?
f4 check.
Sorry, f4.
King, and so he has to
g5
play
was played.
Box right away. Now, what white wants to do is reroute a knight to d3 with a check ASAP. But it's not easy to get a knight to d3.
Bishop c5 doesn't do anything because of knight to b3.
Okay, what about the big move f4 check, gf, king d3, with the idea of sticking the knight on f3, trading the f2 pawn for the pawn on h4.
And he's done that.
I like it.
Sharp.
And he's playing it very fast, keeping the pressure on Gary Kasparov to adjust himself to.
But bishop e7 is a move here. What do you do about this?
And we got it. Bishop e7 on the board. Wow, these legends, these legends are just like really playing an incredible game here. Yeah,
They're good. They are so good.
But what now though? What just happened? He played the move, but now with bishop e7, f4 check. But bishop e7 guards the pawn. What do these knights do? I'm surprised by this sacrifice because if you can play bishop e, if you had won the h pawn, it's one thing. But if you play like this now, are those bishops holding the position together?
You know, Maurice, if I'd seen the move bishop e7, I would have doubted
we have a knight f5 check
of sacrificing the pawn
bishop
because
f5,
we
pawn
currently
f5?
have 3 versus 3, bishop versus knight. But
king c5. I mean, this has got to be better for the bishop.
King c5 has been played.
But not that a2 pawn is really well. I'm going to reach into the position now with knight e5.
Trying to play knight g6.
That doesn't do anything serious, does it?
Doesn't really do anything. I'm trying to, maybe I can play f6 here.
Well, knight e5 with the idea of maybe knight.
Caruana won his game.
As expected there, Caruana wins.
So I want to maybe play f6. You can't play bishop f6 because knight d7 check, start getting some play.
He has played knight d4 instead of the knight e5 move.
Preventing king b4. That was the key there. King b4 was knight c6.
Okay, and very, very quickly, I mean, Gary feeling the heat of his time woes, he quickly played the move king d6. And what happened after king d6?
No moves yet.
No moves yet. Wow. Well, guys, we've got, so many games. What's gone on in that Lavone game? E5, f7, f6.
Okay,
have been played. And it's the bridesmaids, right?
No, it's not. That pawn.
Okay, I'm going to do an update of my board.
There's
Sorry.
a knight. Wait, what just happened? It looked like.
Gary has.
Wasn't knight e6 winning in that position?
I think Hikaru is on the verge of winning this, guys.
Right now, he's got an extra pawn on the A file.
Right.
If you can see the game that we're watching right now.
Exactly. The
issue here is that it also looks like he's going after the H4 pawn.
Absolutely.
And the king is a little bit too far removed to handle them both at the same time.
What is that? What is that ending?
This is one. This is one.
Bishop F2. We have Q3 with a tempo.
King F3 and King G4.
Okay, you win the H pawn, but can you block? Do you have time to block?
No, because you won't be able to give your bishop for the H2 pawn. Knight F5, Knight G3, push the H pawn.
But don't you have to guard it on the H8 square? It seems like you're a long way away from stopping him. You have to make multiple moves. You have to make constant moves with your knight. By that time, your king should be back home.
King F5 coming. Oops, Shadoop.
I mean, the king is very close now.
The king is
now only 2 steps away.
King and Gary will save the game.
And
You're
Bishop
absolutely
D4.
right.
Yeah, I mean, this looks,
Gary will save the
takes
game.
forever to. And now you definitely can't block.
Right. And Gary will definitely be able to save the game.
And Gary finally confident in the draw as he twists the bishop to
A1. The knight has to now get to G7, and the king will be on F8. This is a draw. There's just no way to block this bishop.
No, there's a trick. Knight G8 check, Knight F6.
Knight G8 check, I play King F8.
Knight F6. And
that's
that was
true.
why he had to put his bishop on H8.
That's a good point.
Go back to H8.
Be ready whenever there's a...
I see.
Yeah.
Because there's that block. What you guys are talking about is this key way to try to win a minor piece endgame with moving the knight to F6 at the right moment.
In fact, I think Gary should just keep his bishop on H8.
Right, because
put his king on F8.
Right, wait all... This is can't be one. This is draw.
Right. And now just keep his king on F8.
Oh, he's worried about getting into Zugzwang. But...
Nervously.
Oh, King F8 there, Knight F6. Knight F6.
Bishop G7.
And then Knight D7 check.
Knight D7 check.
Yeah, so he couldn't play King F8 in that position. He was very smart. But the knight can't gain a tempi, and that's the problem here. Black is definitely drawing. It just has to not fall for any tricks. Right now, it is fine for Black. Nakamura missed the win earlier. I saw the move Knight E6 instead of Knight takes
we'll
D5.
look at that later, yeah.
But
I just, on my board, I just wanted to show one very important trick why Gary Kasparov had an only move, Bishop H8. If Gary had played Bishop B2, it was a very nice idea. What am I saying? There's still King E6. I wanted to just point out that
this just wins instantly.
This is the win. So, oops, I apologize. And we have this position at the moment?
No, the knight is on D5, King E6. No, this Nakamura is staring around trying to figure out if there's any way to win this position, and there just isn't. And Gary Kasparov will have magically saved this game. And there you saw Nakamura's face, a little bit disgusted as he brings his knight back, attempting to come up with some idea to eject that bishop. Yes, you can get the bishop to move.
And look at that. You put the bishop as far away from the...
There will be no forks today.
No forks.
There'll be no forks. There's no way at all to win this position.
And there we have it.
And there he queened, and Gary Kasparov has drawn the game. Amazing save, but go back. Go back. Go back in that position. You know what? We'll look at it a little bit later. There are other games still going on.
By
the way,
fight here.
There's a draw. There's a